From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm David Byrd reporting. The White House says it cannot conclude at this time that China-based hackers carried out a massive cyber attack on the federal government's personnel office. Speaking in Washington, spokesman Josh Earnest said Friday the FBI continues to investigate the breach, noting that a lot of work still has to be done to determine who did it.
It's critically important for us to make sure that our defensive measures that are intended to prevent these kinds of intrusions reflect that evolving risk.
Earlier, U.S. law enforcement officials had said that China-based hackers were behind the attack. China's foreign ministry spokesman slammed that accusation as irresponsible. The Office of Personnel Management said Thursday as many as 4 million current and former federal employees may have been affected. The United Nations is urging all sides in the Ukraine conflict to fully respect the ceasefire agreement negotiated earlier this year. UN political chief Jeffrey Feltman told an emergency council meeting on Friday that either a longer aggravated conflict is in the making or a deeper conflict could be aggravating the current situation.
The High Commissioner will be urging the new administration of
Fighting in the town of Marinka this week left at least 28 people dead. The government-controlled town is located in the western suburbs of the rebel-controlled city of Donetsk. For more on these stories, please log on to our website, voanews.com. This is VOA News. U.S. military officials say that coalition airstrikes are having a profound effect on Islamic State militants in Iraq, and that the coalition is taking the enemy off the battlefield in significant numbers. Lieutenant General John Hesterman, the chief of the air campaign, said Friday that he doesn't believe Islamic State is making major advances around the country.
We and many have said this will be a long fight, and there will be tactical setbacks that we should not give Daesh strategic victory credit for. And be sure, we in the coalition are fully committed to a strategic defeat of the Daesh terrorists.
His comments come just days after Deputy U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that the military operation against Islamic State killed more than 10,000 militant fighters in less than a year. The United Nations top human rights official says he is deeply concerned that no action has been taken over allegations that African Union peacekeepers killed 11 people in the Central African Republic last year. Zaid Ra'ad al-Hussein said Friday that a full and transparent investigation has not been conducted by responsible authorities either inside or outside the country. The United Nations says the incident took place in a small town north of the capital Bangui, when 11 people were arrested by peacekeeping troops from the Republic of Congo after an exchange of fire with an armed group. A Pakistani police chief says that 8 of the 10 men convicted and jailed for an attack on Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai for her activism on female education have been freed. Salim Marwat, a police chief in Pakistan's Swat Valley, told Western media the 8 men were cleared because of a lack of proof and evidence against them. Other Pakistani security officials confirmed the story. In April, Pakistani officials said the 10 men had been found guilty of the planning and execution of the attack on Malala and had been sentenced to at least 25 years in prison. The U.S. economy gained 280,000 jobs in May, while the unemployment rate rose slightly to 5.5% as more people began searching for jobs. Friday's report from the Labor Department says that job gains occurred in business services, hotels and restaurants, and in health care. Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner American Pharoah will try to do something no horse has accomplished since 1978, win all 3 Triple Crown races when he runs in the Belmont Stakes in Elmont, New York, Saturday. Trainer Bob Baffert said Friday the 3-year-old colt looked like a monster on the track. American Pharoah is the 13th horse to have won the first 2 races in the past 37 years. Affirmed was the last Triple Crown winner when Jimmy Carter was president. I'm David Byrd in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.